Welcome back, everyone. Spring is quickly approaching, and before you know it, you'll be out on the tennis courts hitting balls like Steffi Graf.
And Kevin Brandalik, the tennis director at 5 Seasons, is here with some very helpful tips to get you ready for your next game.
Welcome.
Well, that's good. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So what's the #1 tip? You want to brush up so that you don't look like a fool on the court like me?
You know, it's all about looking good. That's all that matters. As long as your strokes are good. But no, I think for most people out there, it's just about having fun. You know, there's not one way to play. You know, even when we teach, we're not teaching everybody the same way. It's, you know, we kind of adapt it to what your skills are.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So how do you get into that brushing up of your skills once it's time for tennis season again?
Well, I think it's important, like anything you do, you got to make sure that you're healthy and you're taking it slow. And, you know, as the weather gets better, make sure you're wearing your sunscreen and warming up. And, you know, I think, you know, maybe catch up with some pros or take some lessons at some of the clubs is a great way to get started.
Yeah.
So take us through the proper form of the perfect forehand.
Perfect forehand?
Yeah.
Well, you know, what's changed since I was a kid is the way we hold the racket. I mean, in the old days, you kind of just held it like you were maybe shaking hands. We actually have you go over a little bit further, more to the right now. And this is actually called a semi-western grip.
Okay.
And the reason for that is these rackets now are so powerful that we have to learn to control them. That gives you a little bit more topspin and you can control the ball more. Yeah,
okay, so you hold it properly, that's the first one.
Absolutely, your grip,
And you called it a forehand.
Forehand,
So
yes.
for the beginners,
That's okay.
what is a forehand? Exactly.
A forehand is when you're hitting the ball on the strong side with one hand.
Okay.
Or whatever, your right hand or right side. And then the backhand nowadays, most players are hitting with 2 hands.
Okay.
You know, it's
Did you
a
not do that
one-hander in the
before?
old days.
I always used to do that.
Well, you're younger than I am. I mean, in my days, everybody hit one-hander, but everybody's a
That
two-hander
seems so much
nowadays.
harder
More
than
control,
one-hander.
for sure,
So when you're doing backhand was always, I took tennis when I was younger, and that was always hard for me because it's your weaker side. So is there a trick? Is there a trick to doing that?
Well, I think because you have the 2 hands, you got a little bit more strength.
Yeah.
But we always teach players when you're hitting a 2-handed backhand, think of it as an opposite-handed forehand. So most of the work should be with the opposite side of your body, like a left-handed forehand for you. Yeah.
And
It's a great
speaking
way.
of, you know, everything that you teach, talk a little bit about 5 Seasons.
Well, we got a great club in town. I've been there for a year. I've been with 5 Seasons for about 5 years. We've got 8 indoor courts, 8 outdoor courts, pools, fitness. We've got everything. And our tennis program goes from 5 all the way up to senior. So we have a little bit of everything for everybody.
So lessons for anybody if you've never
From
done it
beginner
before, or if you've done it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very good,
Great.
Kevin.
Well,
thank you so
much for
much.
joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tomorrow on Living Dayton, a Greenville resident trying to make a name for himself on The Voice.
And the folks from Olive will be in the Lifestyles Kitchen, how they pride themselves on buying local and we'll get the recipes for a Tuscan grilled cheese that's very easy to make. Thank you all so much for watching Living Dayton. We want to thank all of our guests for being here today. Thank you again for coming on and teaching us a few tricks.
Do not forget, you can always keep the Living Dayton conversation going on Facebook and Twitter. Days of Our Lives is up next, everyone. See you tomorrow.